It's Saturday. Saturday, we work on sun salutations. We've been mixing in some warrior poses in those classic sun salutations as well. We should be able to get to three of those this morning. But the reminder every week before every class, it's repetitive, I know, but yoga without breath and breath work and breath control is just calisthenics. It's not the science of yoga. Yoga is establishing breath and allowing breath to lead and guide your movements. And when you can find that rhythm and that space to keep the breath consistent, you will be able to keep your practice restorative. Even if you're in a challenging inversion class, even if you're in a challenging power flow class, if you can keep the breath consistent and non-violent, there's Ujjayi breath, and there's Ujjayi breath that's, you can imagine what 75 minutes of the latter would feel like at the end. You want to keep the breath soft with space for a full breath. And then if you can stay in the challenging poses and keep that breath, that keeps that healing space. And so the practice this morning, the commitment this morning will be to establish breath and then really focus on keeping the breath consistent. So maybe backing out of a pose, finding that space where you can keep breathing. Let's start in our Shavasana. That's my phone, I'm sorry. Let's start in Shavasana, corpse pose, please. Not every class starts in Shavasana. Shavasana, corpse pose, literally meant to symbolize the end. We can look at it here at the start of class as the end of our activities leading up to this moment. The end of the day that we've led, the life that we've led to this moment. We're transitioning over into something else, something new. So it's also a symbol of a beginning, our next stage on this journey. Hatha Yoga Nushasanam. Now our journey continues. Our practice, our sadhana continues. The science of yoga continues, resumes. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Consistent practice, consistent sadhana of yoga will eventually bring peaceful stillness to our busy minds. Eventually an end to self-limiting, self-defeating thoughts. Eventually moksha, freedom from suffering. Tadadrashtaha Svarupe Vasanam. When we can find that peaceful stillness, there's an opportunity to reconnect to our true self, our consciousness, our soul, our eternal energy. And in that connection, we achieve samadhi, that are known as enlightenment or Zen, bliss. Our own true splendor. It starts with the first step. This first pose, this next inhale and exhale. Lightly close the eyelids together. Just notice the breath without altering, modifying. Just let the breath be. Notice any resistance in the physical body. That awareness, that resistance. Your next exhale, soften the body. Surrender that defiance. Notice the thoughts, the few that remain. Notice without responding or reacting, simply observing. The eyes closed. Attention, awareness turns inward. A form of introversion, this introversion, pratyahara. Calm, peaceful stillness, nirodha. Breath. In yoga, it's pranayama. Bring awareness back to the breath. We can take our first step in our breath practice, our breath control. Try the next inhale and exhale through the nose if possible. It's not always available, But if this morning that breath works, stay with that breath through the nose. Going so far as to seal the lips without clenching. Taking the tip of the tongue, light pressure to the roof of the mouth just behind the front teeth to soften the jaw. Keep the face soft. Now with that breath in and out through the nose, further refinement. With your next inhale, begin to lengthen. Taking a slow, measured sip of air. Filling completely. And on the exhale, starting from the bottom, working that breath out. Emptying completely. Our first full yogic breath with your next inhale, even longer this time. Slowly fill chest, midsection, belly. Exhale from the pelvic floor, the diaphragm lifts. Navel moves to the spine. Solar plexus squeezes, lungs empty. In the next breath or two, finding your full expression. Some days it might help to consider it in three parts. Inhale to fill the chest, then the midsection, then the belly. Exhale in reverse, belly, midsection, lung. The final modification to the breath, narrowing the pit of the throat, keeping the three-part belly breath, and now adding a soft restorative purr from the top of the chest, that massage of breath swirling against the back of the throat. Our breath control practice, our energy control practice. With this new energetic breath, you might start to feel some heat at the core. You can use the energy and heat. You can tap into that energy. Begin to return life back to the physical shell. Slow, graceful movements. Looking to avoid disturbing the balance, stillness, the peaceful, calm energy. At the same time, moving energy up the arms and legs towards the heart. Bend of the knees will bring the soles of feet to the earth. Link to breath as you sweep the shins side to side, and inhale takes the knees to one edge of the mat. The exhale takes the knees to the other. You can link a turn of the chin side to side, taking the gaze away from the knees, feeling that full spinal twist. And the next pass through center, pause the knees. And on an exhale, bring the thighs to the belly, hands lightly cupping the shins. Use your core strength to touch the knees together. And draw the knees towards the chest. Couple breaths here, wind relief. Feel the inhale, expand against the thighs. And the exhale, as you give a lift to the pelvic floor, draw the navel to the spine, scoop it under the ribs. Contraction. Inhale once more to expand and spread. Feel that activation on the exhale as you contract. Feel the core engage. 2 more breaths like this. Wake up the core, begin to roll across the back, side to side. Rolling up onto the edge of the ribs on one side and then the other. Eventually let momentum take you onto your right side on the edge of the mat, landing in a fetal pose. A reminder this morning, reconnect to the breath. Keep the breath a priority. And then as frequently as possible, try to keep the eyes closed. There's times when we need to find context, check where we are on the mat, maybe to regain balance. But when you can, close the eyes. Keep the focus on your own journey. Avoiding comparison, attachment, judgment. When you're ready, turn to face the floor as you push yourself up, finding Sukhasana, easy crossed legs. And if that pose is not easy when you're sitting on the mat, find some elevation. Chip block, a bolster, or regular block. Some level of height that allows the pose some space. Sukhasana translates literally as easy pose. And so use the tools at your disposal. Sit up tall, whether you're on the mat or elevated. Let the knees drop towards the floor, thighs level with the earth, pelvis upright, and then find a dynamic connection to the earth. Push down through the sits bones. At the same time, pressing the earth away, feel the spine lengthen. Without pressing the chest forward, soften the ribs to the sternum. Lengthen front and back, come up through the crown. Now there's space for your inhale to fill and expand. On the exhale, a lift to the pelvic floor, a scoop of the navel, that flying lock, that pull of the drawstring, and the inhale to expand again. Sitting tall, tip the head forward from the top of the jaw, keeping the neck long, and drop the chin to Jalandhara, the groove in the collar. Ego and wisdom bow to true heart and soul. Hands can form soft Anjali Mudra, your prayer hands at heart center. Anjali, open to receive. So take space between the palms and then rest your thumbs in that space. The opening prayer for practice, the peace prayer for teacher and student. Sahanao bhavatu, sahanao gunakti, sahaviryam karvavaha. Tejasvina vidita mastuma vidvashava. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Quick opportunity to link some movement to the breath. Only when you're ready to inhale, reach the arms across, lengthen through the collar, expand through the fingertips, then tip the head back, lift up through the chin as you reach to touch the palms together. Exhale, return to prayer pose, Sukhasana. Start your inhale, then the movement follows as you repeat the expansion. Exhale, the contraction. Third time, inhale to rise. Turn. One last time. Bring the hands to the mat, rolling up onto the shins, coming into table. Find a grounding in the hands, but make the hands bright, energetic, and alert. So press down into the base of the thumb. Spread the body weight between the fingertips, the tip of the thumb, and then energetically press into the earth. But keep the palm soft, the heel of the hand soft. Pull energy up and away from the floor as you lengthen through the elbows, lift the collar, and expand across the back. Long spine. Feel the energy in the shins, the shoelaces, connecting them to the floor. And when you're ready to inhale, drop the belly, bring the heart through the collar, and lift up through the chin. Expose the throat, lift up through the tip of the tail. Expansion. On the exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tail, contract at the core, and press out through the middle of the back. Inhale once more to expand. Happy cow. Exhale to contract into angry cat. 3 or 4 breaths, warming the spine. Here we are, one more breath, one more cycle. Finish that breath in table. So mindful of the grip of the hands. Touch the knees together. Tuck the toes. As you exhale, engage the core, lift the shins from the earth, and then press back through the sits bones, coming into your first downward facing dog. This is an inversion. Your head is below your heart's below your hips, you're upside down. Take a moment, reconnect to breath, get your bearings, maybe pedal out the feet, shift the hips side to side, find a comfort level in being upside down. And then come to stillness. Remind yourself you're anchored in the base of the thumb. Press from the base of the thumb. Push the sits bones nice and high. And then consider the feet. Can you move to the balls of the feet and make the toes light? Lift and spread the toes. Put the energy into the balls behind the toes. And one final refinement, engage the quadriceps, the thighs, lift your kneecaps and expand the back of the knees. Beautiful adjustments. Finish the breath, release the shins back to the earth. A couple more cat to cow vinyasas. So make a note here in table. You feel pressure in the wrists. You feel relief in the wrists when you bring the weight back to the earth. Be mindful in your down dog that you're not snow plowing with the hands, that you're not putting all the weight into the heel of the hand, that it's remaining in the ball of the thumb and the fingertips. Once more, finish the next breath in stillness, your table. Tuck the toes, engage the core, press back, downward facing dog. Let's explore the space on the mat. On an inhale, float forward to high plank. Come high on the toes and bring the heart out past the fingertips. On an exhale, press back. So move with your breath. Come forward on the inhale, high plank. Exhale takes you back. And then just pause. A couple breaths in your down dog. There's a balance here. If you get the balance right, it doesn't feel like work to be in this pose. Balance between the hands and feet, the balance of energy as you push the earth away. On your next inhale, float forward to high plank once more. This time from high plank, bring the shins, shoelaces, belly, and chest to the floor. Arms like grasshopper arms, thumbs under the floating ribs. Draw the elbows towards each other. Press into the shoelaces. Lift the kneecaps. Anchor into the hips. On an inhale, scoot the heart forward and then peel back. Lift the chest from the floor. Reach up through the chin, open the throat. Exhale to lower. Your first cobra pose. On your inhale, this time peel back, push with the hands. See if you can bring the rib cage off the floor. Exhale to lower. And a third time, inhale, peel back, full expression. Reach up through the chin. Exhale. Keep the hands grounded, tuck the toes, inhale onto the knees. Exhale to downward facing dog. Slowly building our first sun salutation. With your next exhale, take a short step closer to the hands. And then take a full inhale in your shorter dog. Exhale as you contract, take another step closer to the hands. Inhale in your shorter dog. Exhale, step between the hands, step to the top of the mat, find standing forward fold. Here's an opportunity if you need length in your arms to reach the floor. Bring blocks to frame your feet. Bring your hands to the blocks instead of the floor. So hinging at the waist, hinging at the hips. Let the legs be long. Stand tall in the legs. Lift the thighs to lift the kneecaps. Expand the back of the knees. And then drop the crown of the head. Let the collar drop towards your earlobes. Let the spine dangle from the hips, from the pelvis. And let the elbows bend. There's energy in the hands, but let the arms be soft. Let the elbows bend. Two more breaths. Inhale to trace the fingertips on the blocks or on the mat. Lift your heart to halfway. Pardon me. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift to halfway. Try and keep the fingertips grounded to keep a connection to the earth. Exhale to lower. For the third time, inhale, lift the heart without lifting your gaze. Keep the neck long, gaze to the floor. Exhale, lower. Then bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, rise. Come to your Samastiti, standing on both feet. Exhale, release the arms down by your side. Tadasana. So we're always mindful of the connection to the earth. Think about your feet. Wake them up. Lift and spread the toes. Lift the arches. Feel energy in the heels and the balls behind the toes. Lift and spread the toes and feel energy in the ball behind the big toe, the little toe. Feel balance. And then push down through the fingertips. Lift the heart. Long spine. Mountain refers to the spine in this pose. Tall. Reconnect to breath. The joy of a big class like this is you don't feel self-conscious about the breath. You're just part of the ocean. With arms by your side. The next time you prepare to inhale, start the breath, then join with the movement of the arms. Sweep up, lift up through your chin, bring your gaze to your thumbs, touch the palms. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center, bring the chin to Jalandhar. Inhale to expand and reach. Bless you. Exhale. One last time, inhale, reach up, lengthen. And then as you exhale, carve through the air. Keep the hands above your crown, hinge at the hips, reach your hands for the floor, for the blocks, frame your feet. You're in your fold. Inhale to the fingertips, grounded, lift the heart. Exhale, come back, hands to the floor, set your blocks aside. Stride or hop back to your high plank. Sun salutation A, Surya Namaskar A. Bring the shins, shoelaces, belly, chest to the floor. And on an inhale, peel back into your cobra. Lift up through the chin. Reach up through the heart. Exhale, lower. Tuck the toes, inhale to the knees. Exhale to downward facing dog. Surya Namaskar A. Surya, the sun. Namaskar is a formal greeting, like Namaste. Primary series, so this is series A. Find your balance here. This is a pause to reset. Exhale to take a short step closer to your hands. Look through the hands for a landing spot. Coil as you bend your knees, lift your heels, and then stride or hop between the hands. Settle into the fold. Inhale to the tips of the fingers, lift the heart. Keep the neck long, the gaze to the floor. Exhale to lower. Inhale, rise, hands at heart center. Come to your Samastiti, equal standing. Feet grounded. Exhale, release the arms down by your side. Tadasana, 3 breaths. Beginning and end of the Surya Namaskar. Every pose has a grounding connection to the earth. If we're in a handstand, it's the hands. If we're in Tadasana, it's the feet. So make that connection bright and alert. Lift and spread the toes, lift the arches, lift the kneecaps, turn the thighs subtly towards each other. Just slight turn of the thighs. Feel seal into the ball behind the big toe. Glutes slightly engaged. Press through the fingertips, lift the heart. Soften the ribs to the sternum. Long spine. Inhale to bring the arms wide. Reach up, lace the hands. Extend the index fingers, cross the thumbs. As you press up into the salute, inhale, come up a little taller. And then exhale, send the hips to the left as you tip over the belt loop on the right. Square the shoulders, square the hips so they're facing forward to the front of the room. And then press up through the fingertips as you expand both sides of the torso. Expand through the elbows, the armpits. Further, you push your hips to the left. More the center of gravity will keep you from falling over. Then you can float the upper body. Inhale, come back up to the salute, reach tall. Exhale, send the hips to the right, tip over the belt loop on the left. Inhale, come up, reach tall. Trace back with the hands, create a bow in the chest, follow with your gaze. And then on the exhale, carve through the air. Hinge at the hips. Reach the hands to frame the feet. Reconnect to the earth. Inhale to the fingertips. Long spine. Exhale, set the blocks aside, seal into the hands, and then a stride back, high plank. One last time, exhale, bring the shins, shoelaces, belly, and chest to the floor. Hands grounded, shoelaces grounded. Inhale, peel back. Exhale. Tuck the toes. Press back on your knees. And find downward facing dog. Finish the breath, bring the shins back to the earth. Move through cat-cow, breath or two. And then you can stay in table if it's comfortable, or you can bring the knees together and sit back onto your heels. Thunderbolt. Have a glance up here. So the flow I've been coaching is inhale to high plank, then release onto the belly and chest. Hands are grounded, energetic shoelaces, hips anchored, heel back. Exhale to lower. And then finding your way back to downward facing dog. That's a modified flow. Full expression is an option for anyone who's feeling strong, who's practiced a little bit, or they want to try something new. The inhale in full expression. Exhale takes you to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Notice shoelaces and hands, the only thing on the earth. Hips hovering. Exhale to downward facing dog. Both options give you the same yoga benefit. So if you're feeling like you want to stay with modified flow, perfect. You're still getting the full benefit of yoga. You're still moving with breath. You're still restoring the body. If you want to branch out and try full expression, it's there for you. Come back to your table. Press back to your downward facing dog. Coach you through the full expression. Stay in your down dog. When I cue you to lower to half the chaturanga, if you're not able to hold yourself in chaturanga, just come to the floor. Continue on in the modified. Inhale to come forward to high plank. Exhale to chaturanga, so halfway down. If you can't hold it, come all the way down. And then come into cobra or upward facing dog. Let the exhale take you back to downward facing dog. Nicely done. So I'll give options for both when we move through the flow. Exhale, take a short step closer to the hands. Coil as you bend the knees. Look for your landing spot, spring or step to the top of the mat. Inhale to your fingertips. Exhale to return to the fold. Hands to heart center. Inhale, rise. Exhale, arms by your side, Tadasana. Sun Salutation A. It's the first series. Surya Namaskar A. Second series. Slight variations to some of the poses. Staying in Tadasana. Bringing the hands back to heart center. On an exhale, bend at the knees, bring the shins forward. Without losing integrity in the spine, keep the pelvis upright, tuck the tail, and sit into your awkward chair. Utkatasana. Feet can be hip distance apart, so fist width, together if you prefer. But if they're hip distance apart, try not to let the knees buckle or externally rotate. Try and keep the inner thighs engaged, keep the knees close, balanced in that space. Exhale, sit a little deeper. Up the tail, lengthen the spine, lift up through the crown. This time on the exhale, belly to the thighs, expand the back of the knees, lengthen the legs, hands reach for the floor. Inhale to the fingertips. Exhale, set your blocks aside, bring the hands to the earth, stay grounded in the left foot, stride the right foot back, high lunge. So heel toe that back foot back. Bring your seat low and lift your heart, tented fingertips. So if your seat's up higher than your heart, see if you can drop it down and then lift the heart instead. Bring the back shin and shoelaces to the earth. Work the front knee forward over the shoelaces if you can. Keep lifting the heart. Now set the foundation. Find strength in the lower half of the body. Hover the fingertips from the mat. And then sweep the arms up, holding a beach ball, a basketball, a volleyball above your head. Bring your hands, your heart over your hips. And then option to trace the hands back, follow with your gaze, create a bow in the chest, crescent lunge. If you're losing the lunge, bring that shin forward again. Exhale, hands to the earth, frame the front foot, tuck the back toes, lift the shin, step into high plank. From high plank, on the exhale, lower chaturanga or all the way. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. So if you're energetic in this pose and you find the balance, there is space to rest in this pose. Another breath. Grounded in the left foot, stride the right foot between the hands. It may take 3 strides and a hop, a heel toe. Bring that foot to the top of the mat. Lower the seat, lift the heart, tented fingertips. Then lower the back shin and shoelaces. Set the foundation, hover the fingertips. And sweep the arms up. Reach up tall, option to trace the hands behind you, follow with your gaze, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step to the top of the mat. Fold. Inhale to the fingertips. Exhale to lower. Now remember how you came into the pose. Bring the hands to heart center. Bring the shins forward. Drop the seat, tuck the tail, Utkatasana, awkward chair. Try not to collapse into the belly and thrust the chest forward. See if you can tuck the chin and keep the spine long. Great breath. Inhale, come to full standing in Samasthiti. Exhale, arms by your side. Bring the hands to heart center. Heel toe the feet hip distance apart. So fist width, at most 2 fist widths between the feet. Stand into the right foot. Keep that right foot energetic. Strengthen the right side body. Bend the left knee, lift the heel. Dorsiflex to lift the toes. And then stride that foot back. Not a walking stride, 2 walking strides. And then bring the foot out from behind you. If you've brought the foot behind you, bring it out. And angle that back foot so the big toe faces the front of the room, front of the mat, top corner of the mat. I'll get it right eventually. Seal into the outside edge of that back foot. Lift the arches, lift the toes, lift the kneecaps. Feel the strength of the foundation. But notice as you engage the lower half of the body, if you squeeze your glutes, you're going to bring your hips to face the side of the room. Bring your thumbs to your hip pointers, and then turn the pelvis so that your hip pointers face forward. So relax the glutes. Keep the thighs strong. Keep the kneecaps lifted. But relax in the hips. Now, as you seal into that back foot, take a bend to the front knee. Bring that shin forward. Keep the knee over the ankle. Keep the shin straight up and down. So if your knee looks like something like this, you can't work it back over the ankle. If the knee's over the ankle, you could even bring that shin further out over the shoelace. In a nice lunge. Bring the hips to face the front of the room. Inhale to expand across the collar, lengthen through the fingertips. Then slowly close the hands. Up to hold a beach ball, or a basketball, or a volleyball. Option to bring your gaze up to your thumbs without losing the lunge. Maybe trace the hands behind you, follow with your gaze. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Exhale, bring the hands back to heart center. Lengthen the front leg. Inhale to pick up the heart. Exhale, press back through the sits bones. Lift the tail. Bring the heart forward. Keep the heart lifted and come to halfway. Inhale at halfway. Lengthen that front leg. Lift that kneecap. Expand the back of the knee. Exhale, keep that leg long. Roll down that thigh. Reach your hands for the mat or set up your hands on blocks, coming into your intense eastern side stretch, your pyramid pose. With the next exhale, can you drop the chest, drop the crown, another breath. Bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, rise to halfway. Your next inhale, come the rest of the way up. Put all the weight into that front foot. Lift the energy out of the back foot. Stride to the top of the mat. the weight into the left foot, straight from the left side. If you bend the right knee with the heel, dorsiflex the hub of the foot. And then pick up the knee, stride that foot back. So not a walking stride, double your walking stride. And then the foot comes from behind you out to about hip distance apart. Back foot on an angle, big toe faces the top corner. Lift the kneecaps, engage the thighs, relax the hips, turn the hip pointers to face forward. Seal into that back foot. Take a bend to the front knee and bring that shin forward. Foundation of Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Hands can stay at heart center or option to expand. And then close the hands above. Imagine holding a ball above your head. Hold it high, come up through the elbows, reach up through the fingertips. Option to trace the hands behind you and follow with your gaze. Not to lose the lunge. Keep your heart lifted, but bring that front shin forward. Beautiful. Inhale, hands to heart center, expand the front leg. Lift the heart. As you exhale, come forward with the heart. Keep that front leg long. Come to halfway. Inhale at halfway. Exhale, roll down that front leg. Hands reach for the floor or block. Intense side stretch. Or pyramid pose. Bring the hands to heart center. Inhale to halfway. Next, inhale, rise the rest of the way. Put the weight into the front foot. Release the energy from the back foot, stride to the top of the mat. Release the arms down by your side. Reset in your Tadasana. On the rhythm of that breath again. Last time. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Lift your gaze to the thumbs. Exhale, bring the hands to the center. Chin to jaw and dart. Inhale, sweep. Touch the palms. Exhale, carve through the air. Come to your forward fold. Inhale to the fingertips, grounded. Exhale, fold. Set the blocks aside. One last time, high plank. Move with breath, lower. Inhale to the bow in your chest. Exhale to downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Tremendous work today, everybody. Well done. Finish this next breath. The shins come to the earth. Move through cat to cow. Finish the next breath in table. And then release onto the back. Take a bend of the knees, bring the soles of feet to the earth. A sweep of the shins side to side. Link a movement with the chin, taking the gaze away from the knees. Gentle twist to the spine. And the next pass through center. As you lower the knees to one side of the mat, pause. Gaze in the opposite direction. Just hold that gentle twist for a breath or two. When you're ready, link to breath. Sweep the shins to the other side. Turn the gaze the other way. Pause to hold the counter twist. Link to breath. Take another pass of the shins side to side. We're moving into our final Shavasana. There's space here. There's room for 8 or 10 breaths in your final pose of any choosing. If there's something the body's craving that we didn't get to yet. When you feel prepared, when you feel ready, slowly lower into Shavasana. You arrive in Shavasana, legs long, arms by your side, space between the heels, space between the hands and the body. Eyelids gently closed. Breath returns to natural, easy, unforced. Awareness turns inward once more, pratyahara, this introversion. Now in Shavasana, time for self-reflection, svadhyaya. Notice the thoughts, notice the patterns of thought. Notice any changes from the start of the journey to now. In this self-study, Let everything else fall away. Please deepen your breath. Once more, returning to life. Tap into the energy of the breath, begin to stir. Again, protecting the balance you've created. Try not to disturb that balance. Move gracefully. Actually making your way from your back, your corpse pose, to your fetal pose. From fetal pose, eventually arriving in Sukhasana, easy crossed legs. Sitting tall. Chin humble, hands at heart center. Closing prayer. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be healthy and free. Namaste. And this work today, everybody. Well done.